I recently knitted the THEA top by Susanne Müller, which I'm wearing now, but I'm not happy with how it turned out, so I decided to frog it and knit the Love Letter top by Kutovakika instead. If you want to know why I decided to frog it and you would like to see the whole process of knitting the Love Letter top by Kutovakika, stay tuned. So it is THEA top by Susanne Müller. The yarn is Lana Grossa Sola Lina. It is 20% linen and 80% recycled linen. The color is 74 and it took 202 grams. It was a quick project. I have a vlog where I showed the whole process of knitting this top during my trip to Istanbul, so if you're interested, you can watch it. So what are the problems with this top? First, you can see that this yarn doesn't hold the ribbing, so that's why the edge looks a bit untidy. But the main problem is that this top wrinkles a lot when you move. And it wrinkles in certain places. I looked through the Ravelry projects and I guess I'm not the only one who struggles with it. I have seen several projects that had the same problem, so this top wrinkles in the same certain places. I don't feel very comfortable while wearing this top because of this problem, so I decided to frog it. I have chosen Love Letter top by Kutovakika because it is a gorgeous lace top and I have never knitted any of Kutovakika's patterns, so I decided to try. So I feel very excited. First we have to frog this top and then we start knitting the Love Letter top. It is a bit sad to frog this top since it reminds me of my journey in Istanbul. But at the same time it is just lying in my wardrobe and I don't like when I have projects that I don't wear. It is an Italian bind off, so it will take an eternity to unravel it. Actually, I could cut the bind off, but I would like to get as much yarn as possible because I don't have any extra yarn. But I think I wouldn't run out of the yarn because Love Letter top is the lace top, so it should be less yarn consuming. By the way, I also knitted a bandana using this yarn. Here it is. You can find a video tutorial on my channel. So if I have any problems with yarn, I can also unravel this bandana. It is a bit scary to start the Love Letter top since it looks like a very intricate lace top, but I hope I'll manage to finish it. Have you ever unraveled Italian bind off? Did you just cut it or you unraveled it stitch by stitch? Please write in the comments. I started knitting the top, but first I frogged the THEA top and in the end I gave up and cut the Italian bind off on the armholes off. So now I have 185 grams instead of 202 grams. But I also have a bandana that weighs 45 grams, so I hope that in general it is enough. I already knitted the back part before joining with the front. And I think it looks very nice. The lace pattern is gorgeous. But my gauge is looser than the recommended gauge. First I thought that it is fine, but now I think that it looks very loosely. So I'm gonna frog it and start it over again. And I will switch to smaller needles. I knitted these on 3.5mm needles and I will switch to 3mm needles. So I frogged the back and knitted it on 3mm needles. I knitted the front and I have already joined it in the round. And I think that now it looks much better. I think it is adorable. Speaking about the laces, they are not so intricate, they're not very difficult, but you should be very careful while knitting because sometimes I made mistakes and had to rip back. I think the most difficult chart for me was this one, because you have to make decreases on both right and wrong sides, and the decreases are leaning both right and left, so it is a bit difficult. In general, it is a bit challenging to knit laces flat because you have to kind of invert the chart in your head. For example, you should knit on right side but purl on wrong side, and you should make decreases leaning right and left, and you should make purl decreases on the wrong side, but in general it is fine. I think I managed to go through the most difficult part, and now I have to knit in the round and it is much easier. I reached the point where the pattern recommends to check the length, so I tried the top on and realized that it is too large for me. You can see the positive ease. I first tried to knit an I-cord edge on the neck edge and on the armhole, but actually it didn't help me. I wouldn't like to frog everything because it took so much time to knit all these laces. So one crazy idea came to my mind. I will frog this part after joining front and back, and then I will sew front and back maybe here. I hope you can see it. So I will sew several centimeters and I will pretend that I joined front and back here. Then I will continue knitting in the round, and I will also skip this lace part to make the top a bit more narrow. Also, there is one more chart left, but if I knit all the lace charts, the top will be too long. So I think that maybe I will skip this part and switch to the last chart here. I think in this case, the length will be perfect. So what do you think about this idea? It sounds very adventurous, but I hope it will work. First, when I sewed front and back, it looked very nice, but when I continued knitting it around, it looked weird. So I decided to undo the seam and sew one more time. But somehow, instead of undoing the seam, I unraveled several stitches. So I had to pick out the stitches, fix, and then sew them again. In my opinion, after that it looked better than before, but I was afraid to do the same thing under the second arm. It didn't look very badly, so I just left it as it was. My love letter top is ready. I have already blocked it and I think it looks gorgeous. I'm 100% happy with the result. I'm glad that I decided to frog the previous top version and knit this one. I skipped part of the charts here because otherwise the top would be too long for me. And I also didn't knit the bobbles because I don't really like them. The place with the seam looks pretty nice. I think you can't really tell the difference. And all in all, it took 171 grams. I liked the pattern, everything was very clear, so I would like to try other Kutovakika's patterns now. How often do you frog your old knits that you don't wear and need something else instead of it? Please write in the comments. And thank you for watching this video, and see you in my next video. Bye bye.